Ladies and gentlemen, this week on the segment we have the one and only, the local business survivor himself, Mr. Cam Interiors. Would you welcome Mr. Craig Morse to the show? Yeehaw! Hey guys, welcome to the segment. I'm super excited about this one. We have Mr. Craig Morse. He's a great businessman around town. Also ex-fisho, but I'm not allowed to mention that. I might get a couple of waypoints off him, but he is the owner-director of Cam Interiors. Craig, welcome, mate. Welcome to the segment.
Thank you for having me.
Mate, well, I'm expecting big things. Being an ex-fisherman, you know, hopefully you can talk it up a bit.
Well, of course.
So, mate, tell us about, I confessed I'd only been in Cam Interiors once. Tell us about Cam Interiors.
Cam Interiors is a locally owned and operated business in Darwin for 31 years. We have a wide breadth of customers from federal to international and then down to local government and local business and NGOs. The products that we support and sell are workstations, seating and storage, so office fit out. Also we do warehouse fit out, so we do shelving, pallet racking, cantilever racking, etc. And then obviously in the last few years we've moved into commercial grade retail furniture.
So pretty broad, but an ideal client for you, I guess what I'm hearing is, you know, I get a business that's moving, you can help them out the whole lot, the factory and the front.
Of course, you know, when a new business starts up or a new business comes to town, then we're able to do everything from the front door to the back.
So tell me, who would be your perfect customer? I mean, we don't have a large customer base here in the NT compared to down south, but you're probably going to say all of them, but who would be a really suited customer to Cam Interiors?
The best sort of customer that we would have would be somebody that values quality, service, and also cost of ownership over the long term, and continuation of supply. So, you know, and having repeat customers is just really important. And we'd hope through, you know, our brand and the way that we, you know, support and service them, that they'd continue to be our customer. So, you know, new customers are great, but the customers that we've always serviced are most important to us.
So look, this sort of show came out of supporting local business, and I know local business is a hot button for you. So why is it such a hot button for, I guess, Craig himself? Why is local business such a hot button for you?
Local business is so important in terms of its contribution to the economy. 93% of local businesses in Darwin are small, medium-sized enterprises. When the chips are down, you know, basically all we have is each other. But more importantly, when money comes into local business, it can circulate up to 6 times in this economy. When money is spent with, you know, national businesses or overseas businesses, ultimately the money comes in from the feds in terms of taxes to the NTG, for example, and then goes straight out again to, you know, another location. So circulation is important.
So, and look, I know a lot of your clients would be, you know, Northern Territory government, I imagine, and I guess we're not here to sort of fly any flags, but do you find that business finds it difficult with, I guess, our government being so large, having such a large footprint on, I guess, the employment sector?
Look, as a customer, it's great. I think, you know, you want to always have a diversified client base, and that's important to any business. But, you know, if you're asking me about key challenges to local enterprise at the moment, is definitely employment and getting good candidates, or even just getting any candidates at the moment is difficult. Potentially you'd see that the NT government would be a key competitor in that space. And, you know, as business actually produces the goods that pays the bill, where government, services the community and in remuneration terms doesn't actually get to contribute, it gets to spend, that it's important that, as things are better for the wider economy now, that we're able to employ people to remain productive.
Like if I go back, let's say 5 or 6 years ago, that tagline, buy local, it just seemed to be something that wasn't really happening. It was a tagline, but I feel like there's been a real shift and people are focusing and seeing the value on buying local. Have you found that in your sector?
Absolutely. I mean, local all of a sudden seems to come into fashion. I think, local enterprise is a term that's used too loosely, and there needs to be a categorisation of what really is a local enterprise. To me, a local enterprise is, where you live, the director would live here, your kids go to school here, you support the local sporting clubs, you'd ultimately spend a lot of your time and your money in this economy. And I think there'd be a second tier where there'd be, say, a national company that would have a footprint here that, they're not the same as us in terms of, just staying here. They can come and go. And then obviously there's just not local at all.
I've felt just genuinely a quite positive change in that whole area. So I think it's been wonderful.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, all of a sudden we're in fashion.
Mate, well, we got on our bit of a soapbox there. We're almost on the soapbox. I'm gonna throw some questions at you, right?
Okay.
And so we have this little section where we go, give yourself a score out of 10.
Okay.
And we go at a rattle gun. Okay, so you haven't explained it yet, but in a past life you were a professional fisherman?
Never professional, only amateur.
All right, amateur. All right, go. So give yourself a score out of 10. Fisherman?
Too busy, currently a 0.
Having a political opinion?
Apolitical, I'm in business.
Okay, customer service?
10.
I'll give yourself a 10. Northern Territory business local supporter?
Absolutely, hashtag our village.
Our village, good. Home gardener?
I'd like to say 10, but my wife will say 4.
Chef at home?
My daughter gives me a 9.
Good, okay, great. Now, I imagine you go to a few gala dinners here in the Northern Territory. We got a few. Busting the moves on the dance floor?
Absolute 0.
Absolute 0. Football commentator?
Absolute 0.
Mate, everyone's a commentator up here. I imagine you're pretty good at negotiating a deal.
Yeah, I'll probably give myself a 9 or an 8 there.
Okay, hobnobbing and sipping champagne at a political function?
I'm out. 0. 0, that's for them. I'm into productivity.
Able to switch off and relax at home?
Yeah, probably a 7. I think that's really important.
Yeah, good. It's a big struggle to learn to do that. Tell me this, in the context of, local business, what are some of the prerequisites that you must do in a local village to run I remember a long time ago for me when I was starting, Peter Major, Pete's Glass, before we were starting, he said to me, Chris, he said, I can go into any pub and someone will buy me a beer. And he was talking in the context of, I guess, keeping accounts and managing yourself. But in your experience, Craig, what are some of the key components on running a healthy business in that village?
I mean, there's a couple of components, and clearly the first one is the customer. Without the customer, there is no business. But equally important is good staff that are long-term and committed to the cause of delivering quality service with a care factor, where you can align with your customer and with your suppliers and the product you sell.
What would you say, mate, to, I remember we've had a couple of people on the show and I've asked them a question, and they were in tourism. And I should have framed the question better, but I said, what would you say to a young couple getting into tourism? And they were like, don't, just don't. Well, we had a bit of a laugh, but their answer was very much about do your due diligence and research. Is it different for the retail sector? I mean, I think you are probably one of the last independents left up here. Would that be accurate?
In terms of retail furniture, of course, it's a smaller component of our business because primarily we're focused on commercial furniture, but our ability to do that well has spilled over into commercial grade retail furniture. you know, we're not for everybody. We're only for the people that are actually focused on having good style, good quality, good service, and furniture that they'll love to live with.
Clearly, you're doing something right. Clearly, your business is doing. You've got. What do you think Craig and his team has got right?
I think that's a really good question.
It's the first time I've ever seen you speechless. It hasn't happened in 31 years.
Look, I think the fact that we have been here for 31 years shows that we are doing it right. You know, we spend a lot of time looking after our staff and including every member. We even have a kids club at work. So, but, you know, valuing the customer is actually, you know, the number one thing in terms of that they buy into what it is that you're selling. When you're talking about, you know, people wanting to get into retail or any business, it's a basic fact of economics. You know, when there's no demand, then you can offer that supply. Obviously, that's a strategic advantage. Coming into any crowded space, like you said, tourism, obviously, there's a lot of operators there that recently have really had their business model challenged. That would be more challenging. But even in the employment market, you'd see with tourism now, we assume that there's going to be a bumper season for tourism, which is really good for Darwin. I mean, I call Darwin the new Bali. I think that that's a good thing for all of us. That, you know, they risk losing employees into other sectors. So you know, it's hard to say these days because, you know, things just change so quickly. But given the last 12 months, I think that it's been a really good opportunity for everybody to question their why in their business.
And what is the why for Cam Interiors? What's the why?
Our why is furniture that you'll love to live with, or furniture that you'll love to work at.
Fantastic. I'm not giving my wife the credit card to go near your joint.
Everybody says that.
All right, well, mate, it's been awesome. We're going to finish with 10 fast questions, all right?
I'm ready.
Favourite laksa?
Chicken noodle soup homemade.
Chicken noodle soup. Favourite fishing spot?
Perrin Islands.
Perrin Islands, great. Favourite fish?
For eating, I would have to say Goldie. It's hard to go past.
It is. Favourite footy team?
Go Cats.
Oh, God help us. I knew there was some problem here. Favourite restaurant in the NT?
Yachts, Greek Taverna.
Yachts Heaven! Oppa! Favourite dry season event?
Potentially sitting at home outside taking in the view.
All right, here's one, a loaded question. Who's easier to employ, male or female?
Oh, I think that, you know, it's fit for purpose. You know, and we are not the same, and both segments have different strengths that can be utilised by the business.
There's not one that's easier.
No, there's not.
Right.
We are all equal. Our diversity is our strength.
Oh, I can see the next political campaign coming right now.
Not
You're
for
the
me.
first person, I think, in history. Every person has said women. Every person.
You know, I mean, if you look at the breakup of our workforce, then, you know, we'd probably be 50-50.
Yeah. All right, and let me ask you this. What's a moment Craig looks back and he goes, you know, I've been a great, you know, you've tried to be a great member of this village, this community, this business community. What's one of the moments that Craig's just extremely proud of?
I'm proud to live and work in the best city in Australia and in the world. I just love Darwin. I'm a total advocate for Darwin.
Mate, there's our new tourism ad, hey? Hey, listen, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
And everybody get out there to Cam Interiors and...
opposite Harvey Norman.
Opposite Harvey Norman, very good. But mate, sincerely, all the very, very best. And maybe you can swing me a fishing point here or two, just one or two.
No problem.
Awesome.
Perrin Islands.
Perrin Islands.
Actually, Vernon's.
Vernon's, no.